firstly, try, and actually don't just try, do your best to ease up the pressure from the agent. Agents are forever trying to make money. It doesn't matter what you might be losing. And I have I've actually lost a little bit of patience for agents and how they can be reckless in how they make money.
Hello guys, how you doing? Henry here, back with another video. So guys, today we are talking property, and I've got an awesome gent. Yo, what's up, bro?
Good, where are you?
Awesome. So I'm here with man.
Yeah, with Mandilake once again.
Yes, man. So obviously for the guys who don't know you, bro, if you could just introduce yourself, man. What do you do in terms of your profession?
Okay. So Mandilake here once again. I am a tax expert. I did finance in my background, so I'm a qualified professional accountant. Yeah, that's mainly, and then I invest in property, as well as I do have other investments I actually dabble with, but property becomes one of those big ones.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
So tell me, man, how many properties do you have in your portfolio right now?
We're still at the staggering 6.
And tell me, man, what are the most hidden costs, that are there when you buy property? What are the costs that people don't normally look at and that surprise you? Or what has been your biggest surprise when you bought property? Like, man, what is going on here?
Sure. At the beginning, that's a good question. At the beginning, your legal costs, do not underestimate the legal costs that you have to pay when you are starting a journey of paying a bond, getting bond registration, transfer fees before we get to transfer duties, depending on how much the price of that house is. So it's normally, and then the cancellation fees if ever it's a property that was owned by somebody else before. Those attorneys are normally different, and each one costs something different. And if your property is over the threshold at SARS, which changes, I think it's 1.2 million at this point and above, then you have what they call transfer duty if it's a property that was owned by someone else before. So you have to pay all of those, and it can easily get up to like 100,000 and more. So you have to be prepared for those. And also an initiation fee. When you are getting a bond from the bank, there's normally an initiation fee. It's about 6 grand most of the time if you are an individual. I think they say it's about 12,000 if you are a company, but then they differ if ever you are an individual from when you are actually a company.
Okay, so those are the main costs. How about
Yeah, so that's at the start. Then the second one, just find out what are the rates and taxes you are going to pay in the area in which you are in, because normally people get surprised. It's mostly if you are staying in if someone is staying in a complex. Normally people confuse levies that you pay in the complex with the municipal bills, which are two different things, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you pay your rates and taxes to the municipality for the land that you are actually that your house is on, and the usage of the municipal services. But then your levies are for your complex, your security, your garden cutting, grass cutting, and all of that business. That's a separate cost all on its own. Yeah.
Awesome. And with regards to defects, man, like in terms of the house itself, because I know, in buying cars, there's the big thing, latent defects, footstoots and all these things. But normally, like, correct me if I'm wrong, when you go and you view a property, right, the agent is there, agent is putting pressure, once you only view it once, they have to call you back, have you made a decision and all these things. And normally, because I didn't know it, the first time I went to view a property, I didn't know that, once you obviously you submit an offer if the seller comes back and accepts it's chai,
Yeah.
unless obviously sometimes the other conditions
Yeah.
like in your bond if it's going to be 100%, some of those suspensive conditions and
Yeah.
all these things. But how about latent defects, man? Like you didn't really see that, okay, this property, maybe there's an anthill
Yeah.
or something hectic like that,
Yeah.
you didn't really know,
Yeah.
that, man, this thing, what do you have you ever had any experience with that, and what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, that's a common challenge.
Yeah.
Firstly, try, and actually don't just try, do your best to ease up the pressure from the agent. Agents are forever trying to make money. It doesn't matter what you might be losing. And I have I've actually lost a little bit of patience for agents and how um, they can be reckless in how they make money. Because when you are making a decision to buy property, that's a long-term decision.
Yeah.
And it affects you financially at all ends, in all ends. So it just, for me, it doesn't frustrate me, but it irks me to actually get to the point where you see that agents are just pushing for you to just sign, and this issue of then having latent defects being or going unseen because you are under pressure is prevalent.
Yeah.
That footstoots condition on the offer to purchase, one has to be given enough time then to examine, bring all the experts that you need for you to check what are the things that I might actually get to.
So this is before you make an offer.
Yeah, before you make an
just
offer.
tell them, what, I'm interested. Potentially, we're interested in
Yes.
this, but we need to now bring some people in
yes.
to check this out.
And you're allowed, by the way, to come as many times as possible.
Ah.
To actually say, I brought in my whatever engineering friend, whatever, or my contractor to actually come and look at what are the things that would need to be done here. Because firstly, that affects the price that you actually are considering, and to look at what are the costs that I'm going to have to incur to put this house in the condition I need it to be in order for it to be worth the price that I'm actually looking at. So you need to make sure that you are stern to actually say to the agent, no pressure, I'm going to have to do all the examination that I need. And you have to put those suspensive conditions after, actually, whilst you are doing the walk around. Don't take their word for it. That's one of
Okay.
the things don't take people's word for it. If it's not written down, I promise you, they're going to deny that they said anything about it when push comes to shove.
Yeah, man, and I'm saying this in terms of, especially first-time buyers. Because
Yeah.
I remember when we were trying to look for a property for the first time. It's like you're like a fish out of water, right?
Yep.
You don't know what can you say, what can't you say, and whatever it is. I remember the other agent was like, so when I was like, okay, let me have can we put in a counter offer, before, like, it's like, why do you have to look for a house of this much if you don't have the money? Like that.
Again, and that right there, because of most of the time when, yes, mostly first time home buyers, they don't know rules of engagement. You're right. You must remember that these agents have had plenty of experience to actually know how to psychologically engage you to get what they want, even at your disadvantage.
Yeah.
So, one, there are certain things which you should be prepared to say, no, well, I don't think that's your grounds to play. Because this person has nothing actually to do with this transaction.
They just want to
they just want to make the commission. That's it.
They're going to meet their monthly target, but you have got this consequence for 20 years.
That's the thing. And what they would push you for is to go for the highest price because their commission also goes up. Don't take the agents anything when it comes to their sale, except for the fact that they actually are the go-between the buyer and the seller.
Yeah, and sometimes I've seen, like, even with the attorneys, like, you don't have any control in terms of who the attorney is. Can you, like, have control over that? If you've got, because no one's like, I know the seller has already chosen the attorneys, who the attorney is going to be, and whatever.
It's another touchy aspect, because also banks now, they have a list of attorneys that they work with. So they would tell you, no, we can't take another attorney because of they're not part of the people that we actually, for conveyancing and all of those business.
Yeah.
I think the legal fraternity has to look at that to see, because of this then ends up favoring a certain group of companies and people at times.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So just the last question is, with regards to the biggest thing, the tenants, right? How do you guard your risk with regards to your tenants, in terms of, you know, making sure that this person is going to be paying, you know, this person is going to be paying your rent and all these things. This person is going to vacate when you want them to vacate. How have you been able to do this?
That's one thing I don't compromise on. I pay agents for all my properties. I don't handle my properties myself because
So
there's
all 6 properties?
All 6.
Yeah.
Since I've ever started, I use agents. One, I'm not good at screening people. I don't know. I don't have that profession. They are good at that. They get the best when it comes to the people that, I mean, for sure, anything is possible, but then at least you minimize the risk. So they actually go for the best in terms of that. And I pay for that. And then number 2, I take insurance for exactly that. Once the tenant is unable to pay, I must not spend 2 years of my money paying for somebody else staying in my house because of what's this?
Pie Act.
Yeah, the act is actually is favoring them at my expense. So I've got that paid for. There are legal companies that actually will deal with that. So
it's not a lot of insurance though.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's not a lot of money.
No.
Let's say for one of your properties is how much? Let's just say for example,
I
what's
think
the
there's
rental
about
income?
it's about $300, 300 and some odd. Yeah, a month.
That's for like a property with how much per month?
It's about $1 million.
No. So is it on the rental income that you want to get per month? Or?
Sure, yeah. You
So
actually
I'm just
take
saying,
that.
how much is that rental income? If you remember.
It's about 10. It's about 10,000.
For 10,000.
Yeah.
So 10,000 rand rental income, you can insure it for 300 rand.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you can still deduct that 300
Yeah, you deduct. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's where I was going. All of the costs I'm incurring because I've got such documentation to prove that this is actually in the pursuit of this business or trade. Then they're all tax deductible.
Awesome, man. And one last thing, buying a property using a business or your personal capacity if you're an employee.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Briefly, if you're an employee, have a reason why you want to buy it in the name of the company. Besides that's what somebody else says, because of that does not serve you. Firstly, if it's in the name of the company, I mean, I've actually spoken to people. They didn't know. They had people say they bought their own primary residence in the name of the company, and when they were selling, all of that money is exposed to for tax purposes. You lose out on the 2 million because your company does not have that same primary residence exclusion benefit. Number 2, you can't then claim the expenditure you are incurring to run those properties which are in the name of the company against the taxes that you are incurring. You're sorry, against against the income that you are receiving and the employee's tax that you have actually paid. So you can't necessarily become a provisional taxpayer that can reduce the employee's tax that you've paid over the year if the deductions are in the name of the company, because the company is a separate person from you.
Awesome, man. Hey, thank you very much, bro. I mean, we will link up more questions, and you guys, if you got more questions with regards to tax, let us know, man. Properties,
Yeah.
let us know.
Financial literacy.
Financial literacy. Cheers, guys.